the reason why I switched from stocks to crypto was a couple things. One was I was, again, traveling for 2-3 years at that time, and new time zone, you're always locked down in New York.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yeah.
which is fucking exhausting. I'm sure you probably feel the brunt of that for sure, since you've been bouncing around for a while. And I got basically just fed up with it to the point, because I also think it affected my performance.
100%.
I was in a new city, new country every month, trying to get adjusted to sleep, and sleep is super important to function properly. So that was one reason.
How's your 8 sleep going?
It's actually not good.
I saw your chat. I thought about getting it, but then I was like, I'm never in my bed, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. No. Unfortunately, it's been 4 nights of fucking dog shit. I don't know.
I saw they responded to you, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
They're
they
like, oh.
messaged me on Twitter and said, hey, give us email. I haven't responded to them yet. So hopefully I can figure it out.
Sleep is tough. I'm doing 40 countries a year, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love it. Like, I've tried to stay in one place. This summer, I'm staying in one place.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. But again, you just find what works for you. You know, like,
do you own anything back home in the U.S.?
I bought a place, actually 3 places down in Miami.
Yeah.
Very similar to this.
Okay.
Like what you have here.
Yeah.
But in Miami, and my parents live there, and I go back every now and then. My mom does my laundry. She's happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Good deal.
She makes a badass matcha latte.
Yeah.
So I go back every now and then. But we have charity projects now in 46 countries. And I just feel very fulfilled. You got to find what fulfills you. Once you make enough money, that's a good problem to have. Like, you have to get financially free, so you don't have to do the 9 to 5. But then there's a whole new set of problems where, when you have so much money, people treat you differently. You have too many options. And then a lot of people who are very wealthy are very depressed.
Yeah.
And I always tell them to come to Bali. I was like, there's most people here have very little to nothing, and they're happy just to be alive, their family. It's perspective.
Yeah.
So I found what works for me: traveling and donating and teaching.
Yeah, that's great. I want to talk about that, all your other stuff that you're doing as well.
Yeah.
But I want to finish what my point was for switching from stocks to crypto was also that one was just I couldn't fucking sleep at all, because market opens 10:30 if it's depending on the
Daylight savings.
Which was one. So sometimes I'd be up at 3 a.m. staring at my phone in the chart, like, is this fucking short gonna fucking squeeze, or am I gonna get fucked? And I'm just sitting there, cortisol pumping, no sleep, and it was just miserable. But then I quit trading for 2 years, which was one of the most peaceful 2 years of my fucking life.
What'd you do when you quit?
I was trying to start a new business, which was based on internet marketing, being that I had sold millions of dollars in courses and marketing on YouTube. I was like, okay, well, that's also something I was pretty good at. Maybe I'll start getting into that, which didn't go as well. But at least I did have a lot more peace of mind, because trading in general is just fucking stressful when you're constantly in a trade, constantly wondering what's going to happen next.
Especially when you're trading profitably, and then you do one trade too many, and all your time gets wasted because then you have a loss.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I just stayed up all night, I did nothing, I feel like crap, and I lost $5,000. And it's the worst of the worst. And you're like, so I understand.
But what I found 2 years later, once crypto started kind of pumping again, this was when it was at 10, 12K for Bitcoin in 2019, maybe.
Yeah.
I just started looking at altcoins and started realizing that the patterns were almost the same as small cap penny stocks. And I was like, this is interesting. And then I just started dabbling there because, one, I didn't have to stay up late. It was 24/7. And two, it was basically the same four patterns that I had been trading stocks for the last 17, 15 years at this time. So I'm just wondering, I think you said earlier that you hadn't done anything in crypto, but have you ever looked and found similarities? Because that's what migrated me, especially one that moved to Asia when I could no longer be imprisoned in New York time.
Yeah.
That's what I found.
I've looked at it. I know I've heard from people that the patterns are the same. I mean, Harry Ye, who we were talking about, one of my penny stock traders, moved to crypto, and now he's made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I was just on his 3 yachts in Dubai. It was ridiculous. So there's more money to be made. It's the Wild West. Unfortunately for me, because I've had so much experience with penny stocks, that's where I know my stuff. I also, have a patience problem. So if I would ever be in a crypto trade, I would have to stay up 24 hours, which is not ideal for me.
That's another thing that's bad, because it is there's no fucking weekends. Even on the weekends, like this whole weekend, I'm sitting there because I'm pretty heavily long right now. I'm like fucking looking at Bitcoin.
I can't sleep if I'm in a position like the stock market. I have a weekend strategy. The stock market is closed, so at least I can sleep and I'm not worried. Yeah. But I can only imagine how stressful it must be. Worse than that is that I have so many imposters all over the place. Timothy's like 432, Timothy's like private group. They all do crypto. So for me, when people come to me and they DM me like, you scam me for 2,000. I know how you make your money, you crypto scammer. And I'm like, I warn every day. I have so many warnings.